Ganito ang mang-steal. Pag Rexona, para cool.
你这 Chinese baby 手中中国韵味，你这 Chinese baby 手中中国韵味，你这 Chinese baby 手中中国韵味，你这 Chinese baby 手中中国韵味。
in shaping Team Idolize. Devil Z Tunes, for example, designed team mascots, an icon, created multiple assets and thumbnails, and even handled the main characters' designs for the series. Napuff entered as a writer, but quickly rose through the ranks, eventually overseeing rewrites for projects like Androids, and Aiko joined as a rigger, handling all the technical sides of animation. With a roster this stacked and hundreds of eager young talents spread across so many different areas, Idolize had everything it needed on paper to be a groundbreaking project. So after months of hard work, Idolize finally made its big debut on May 26, 2020. The premiere went live on Bayo's channel, which was called Senpai Wolfie at the time, but shortly after the project's release, Bayo changed the name to simply be Idolize, and within no time, the video had passed over 1 million views, becoming one of the most successful large-scale gacha collaborations in the community at the time. The animation and sheer scale of the project earned a ton of praise, especially considering how many people contributed to it. But as the attention grew, so did the criticism. The biggest issue people seemed to have was the story itself. While the visuals were impressive and the passion was undeniable, most viewers agreed that the plot felt weak and underdeveloped. Add that to the already brewing tension behind the scenes, the monetization drama, the messy leadership, the sheer chaos of trying to manage over 100 contributors, and the cracks started to widen fast. In July 2020, the original Idolize video was completely taken down from the channel. Mind you, the video was supposed to be the payment in exposure that all of the hundreds of artists were promised. This wasn't just a handful of voice actors or writers. These were background artists, character designers, asset makers. Everything on screen was brought out by someone, a hopeful kid looking to make a name for themselves. While management scrambled to figure out what to do next, Bayo, fresh out of an abandoned project, started pitching new ideas left and right. Allegedly, sometimes up to 5 different projects at once. And for each one, the cycle would continue. They'd collect artwork from unpaid artists, and in the end, none of these projects would ever get off the ground. Bayo would get bored, move on to something else, and all of the hard work people had already put into it would go to waste. After bouncing around ideas all year, in September 2020, Beowulf decided to revisit their old Android series, this time pitching it as a reboot called Androids V1. The project was tiny compared to Idolize, and spoiler alert, it never got released. Still, Bayo opened applications again, bringing in a wave of fresh artists to replace many who had already left. And by March 2021, Androids got another shot at life, deciding to promote Napuff to lead writer and let production officially begin. But here's the twist. While the new version of Androids had fresh character designs, a revamped story, and an actual direction, all of it was handled by Napuff. And for the next 6 months, Bayo was reportedly completely absent. And as April rolled around, Bayo's absence only deepened. A member of the team called Miko Kimi suddenly stepped up and took over as director, after Beowulf announced that they were somewhat retiring. And when I say retiring, I meant that Bayo promised that they'd check in once in a while, but they weren't going to actually contribute anything to the project in any meaningful way. That reminds me of something. So now Androids, the series that started as Beowulf's big dream, was being run entirely by other people, all while Bayo slowly drifted out of the picture. You could argue that this was the case for all of their other projects too. Bayo simply organized the group, while others did the heavy lifting for them. But whatever the case,
My time is running
it
out.
has become painfully clear. The only thing Bayo is consistent about is abandoning their own projects.
I must go on.
On
to the
August
silent
3rd, a teaser
catacombs,
for the rebranded
where cookies sought refuge from a great massacre.
Instagram, generating hype and raising expectations. Fans were excited. The project looked like it might finally come together, but the unbelievable
When the devil swung
just
his
2 months
blade,
later.
the
By this
world
point,
fell
Android's
silent in
wasn't
the
yet concept.
sinister.
It had full animation, detailed writing, character designs, and even complete world building.
And now
Napoleon
the
and
beast
team
has
had
returned
poured
from
months
his
of
imprisonment.
But for whatever
The one
reason,
they call
Beowulf stepped in, told Napuff that they didn't like the
Silent
direction the
Salt
series was
Cookie.
heading, and decided to take the entire project back. And just like that, months of effort, creativity, and teamwork
The tomb must remain
was officially
untouched.
cancelled again, leaving the team demoralized and the project even more devastated. That wasn't the only thing Bayo decided to take back. On December 1st, 2021, Beowulf reclaimed the Idolized channel, this time stating that they needed the YouTube revenue to pay for college. So now, the only remaining proof that Idolize ever existed is a single
can't.
YouTube post.
Stop yet!
But the story didn't completely end there. The artists and collaborators who had been part of Team Idolize weren't ready
The
to let it
answer I
die.
seek is
So they
right
regrouped
here.
and created a new channel also called Team Idolize. This time
Who
it was about
dares
Beowulf's
tread these
appearance.
forbidden
So by
halls?
April 2022,
Who dares
the project
harbor
had
such
fully
foolish
transitioned
hope?
into the hands of the
This
original
place will
creators.
become
Then,
your tomb.
Team Idolize's management shifted from Nico Kuni to Yua and NJ, also known as
The
Diana,
burden of
and the
Morgan
group
will
was
be
rebranded
mine
as
and mine
Idolize
alone.
University. The focus had completely changed. Instead of trying to produce a massive, fully animated series, the goal became educational, teaching young artists how to animate, rig, design, and create content, with the teachers being former Team Idolize members. While there wasn't any large-scale production planned, the team still produced a few multi-editor projects, and some short animated films just for fun. However, by January 2023, most of the original Team Idolize crew had drifted away, leaving the channel relatively inactive for a while. Around this time, the remaining members decided it was time for a fresh start. Napuff suggested rebranding Idolize University into Team Reverence, a move designed to fully disconnect the project from Beowulf and his chaotic legacy. Team Reverence is now fully run by Yua and Aiko, also known as Soy. The team also went through a few name changes too, rebranding from Team Reverence to Team Sanctity, but the mission stayed largely the same: teach young artists the ropes of animation, design, and rigging, while also creating side projects for fun. As of today, all of Sanctity's accounts are officially handed over to Napuff and Devil Tunes. The platform now serves a completely new purpose, hosting their as well as the internal conflict between mods and team members. Do not take this as an excuse to harass, but rather an insightful retelling of what these artists have been through. So with that out of the way, I'd like to introduce Napuff, also known as Nap. So, thank you for agreeing to this call. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Libby, but my online username is Napuff or Nap, not Napuif. I hate it when people call me that. Napuif. I use she/her pronouns, and I was an asset designer and character designer, and I kind of got pushed a lot of responsibility to be a writer and project manager for Beowulf for like 3 years until they retired.
I see. So, starting off strong, how did you exactly like join Team Idolize? Like, how did you hear of Bayo and stuff?
So I didn't actually know what it was at all. I was recommended by a friend who was already in Team Idolize. Her name was Dev, and she went by Devil ZZ Tunes. And she was like also an asset and character designer in the projects. So she was talking to Bayo, talking about how great I am. And then Bayo hit me up in the DMs and was like, "Oh my god, I want you so bad to be in this project." I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it was her recommending her to me. So that's how I heard about the project. And then they gave me a Google form to sign out to where it's like you enter information, you give a portfolio and stuff like that, and you get back later. So I did enter my information in the portfolio and stuff like that. And like within the same day, I was added to the Slack, which is like a Discord-esque kind of workspace app thing. And I started production there.
Okay. So, what were the ages of the people around you?
Oh my god. I know someone who's like as little as like 9 years old, but I want to say the average was like 11 to 17 years old. And I think the biggest person we had was 18 to 19. That being Cosmic YT, I think that was the end of it, or Cosmic ET, or whatever his name was, and then some voice actors who were also like 18 or something like that. But I knew that like literally all of us, including Bayo, were minors.
I see. So, in general, would you say that the management was kind of good, bad? Because it's all run by minors. So, how would you say, the management went?
It was chaotic. It was kind of like confusing to where it's like we didn't really know what we were doing half the time. And I didn't really know what was going on until I became a project leader way later. But during the Idolize era, it was sort of like everything was kind of like in the air of like kind of just sitting around and waiting to do random assignments. Like out of the blue, Bayo would just message me being like, "Hey, can you draw some stuff for like this VTuber?" And I was like, "Okay." Whatever. And it would occasionally be like pass around assignments of being like, "This is a project we're gonna work on, everybody work on this." And then in a week it was like, "Actually, we're not doing this anymore, we're gonna do another project, everyone design assets for this thing now." And then in a week it would be like, "Never mind, we're gonna do this other project, everyone start working on this one now." So I never really knew what we were working on while like Bayo was like actually like in management before they like semi-retired and then officially retired.
I see. So it seems like you've been put through like a lot of, I guess, commissions. Like they would ask a lot of you to do different things, and sometimes it would never end up even reaching to like the assets that eventually would be used.
Oh yeah, I've committed several hours into making assets and none of it got released. I know some of my friends were voice actors for it, and I know that I won't mention them in case they don't want to be mentioned, but I know that some of them did like all the voice lines for the script already ready and then it not getting anywhere and then having to redo and it was getting kind of exhausting. And it was just like this kind of repeated cycle of like not really like a good focus on like what we were gonna do. Because after the Idolize project was canceled, I know a lot of people left to support more of like what Beowulf's like bigger projects were. Because after after the Idolize thing was taken down, Beowulf kind of split up into paying attention to Team Idolize, the 100+ miners that were still working for them for exposure, and then they were doing their own little project of like Gacha Shop and Gacha Designer, but I don't think those even got released. But I just knew that like while they were saying, oh, I'm gonna be less active because I'm working on my own thing, I knew they were referring to Gacha Shop and Gacha Designer.
So it's like there's like a graveyard of all of Bayo's projects, and
Exactly. There's like, I think over 5 unnamed projects. There was 2 that were named. One was like a Hunger Games kind of thing, and then another one was like, I can't even remember. There's so many projects that like people have committed time and made assets for, and just never got used or went anywhere.
I would say one of my largest concerns with this habit that Bayo has is that because everyone was a minor, a lot of work was put into things that weren't paid, and so I'm just like, the picture that I've been painted here is that loads of children, free child labor essentially, and no payment done. And I've seen your work. You draw amazingly, you know, your partner is amazing at drawing as well, and it's like a shame to see these assets just being completely flushed down the drain, and especially with the voice actors, because usually voice actors tend to either volunteer or pay by rates, so nobody seems to get compensation during all of these projects, which is quite a shame in my opinion. But yeah, did you get anything out of working with Bayo? Like any exposure, anything at all?
Oh my god, in the span of me working with Bayo for a couple years and then being their project manager for their redesign of androids for 6 months, I have never been mentioned from their channel, and as far as we know, unless I had the screenshots and proof that I actually worked with Bayo, we could not be able to say that I actually worked with Bayo because I was not mentioned or credited anywhere, which kind of sucks. But this wasn't just me, this was a lot of other people, and even when the Idolize video was up, I knew there was a little controversy about like some people were missing their credits, or some people were given credits for the wrong things. And there's actually another controversy that was on their Instagram that was like Wolfie was being accused of stealing revenue and then not paying any of the artists. And so the Instagram responded with, just letting you guys know, the actual Idolize video isn't monetized. Other videos are monetized that have other people's work in it, but the Idolize video isn't monetized, and exposure is a great payment because it's to 500,000 people, and each of the team members are agreed to it and they consented to it, so it's all fair game here. They said it was okay, and exposure is great payment, you know? Basically just admitting to not paying me.
I mean, this is a perfect segue to the next topic I want to talk about, but you know when Bayo took over Team Idolize's channel so that they could use the earnings to pay for their college, how did that go down? Like, how was that allowed? Like, did people just give it up? Like, what was that?
For the actual like YouTube channel, there was three or 2 people that had control over it, which were like the higher ups. And during that time, Nico King knows with Bayo than maybe the other project leaders were, because they posted in the Slack saying how like Bayo was stepping down because they were quote unquote too busy, and they've already been managing Team Idolize for over a year, so they're exhausted, I suppose. And basically saying that like they consented and sort of gave up the channel for Beowulf to take back, because Beowulf was saying, well, this is my channel anyways, like most of the content on here is mine, these ideas were mine, so I have every right to take this channel back, which I mean, I do understand. They are right in the sense to where it's like all the videos beforehand to actually, you know, make them get to 300k subscribers when they made the Idolize video was by them, you know, was by their own efforts. So there wasn't really any pushback because since a lot of us were minors, we were all just kind of like, well, I don't want to seem like an asshole, so yeah, that seems fair. Like, that is technically your channel. So I think a lot of us were just pushovers because if we weren't already accepting payment, then why would we do any pushback when they basically take back the channel and take down the video and say that they're gonna keep all the money for their college, you know?
Yeah, because in one way, I wouldn't say sympathize, but I do understand where Bayo was coming from, saying, oh, this is technically my channel, I started this. But I would say my issues with this situation is more the fact that Bayo, the project Team Idolize wasn't just Bayo's. In fact, it was basically a community project. So the way they acted,
Oh my gosh.
the way they treated the part of this project was extremely irresponsible, I think, disgusting to be honest. And do you know why Bayo took down Team Idolize, that video? Do you have any idea?
I remember I asked Nico about it. I was like, okay, that's fine, take back the channel, but why take down the video? Because so many people worked on it for months, and it's like, that was our payment, you know? That was our payment, the exposure and stuff like that. And from apparently what I heard is that, quote-unquote, Beowulf did not want to be associated with Idolize anymore, which sounds really harsh, and I want to believe that's not true, but that is what I've heard, is that apparently Beowulf did not want to be associated with Idolize, so they took down, like, the majority or all posts related to Idolize on their main channel,
the soul,
once our
seeking
like, main
shadow,
channel was
trouble, the
That's
gentle.
what I'm confused about as well, because, I mean, Bayo has abandoned Gacha Shop or Gacha Designer and Chidimation, but you don't see Bayo taking down all those videos and just completely going, oh yeah, no, I'm not involved in this anymore. They haven't exactly given a statement, and I don't think they will, because they like to run away, but in general, I think it does a great disservice to all the hours and months of hard work, just as you perfectly said, of people, you know, time, effort, and that was their payment, exposure, and people loved Team Idolize. I saw videos of people making like fan videos, YouTubers reacting to it, so it just makes me wonder why they would remove such a thing.
Well, I will say that it was very effective to making everyone forget about Idolize, because I remember when Chidimation came out, only a few people were like, but what about how Beowulf treated Team Idolize? Like, is everyone just gonna forget that? And Beowulf was like, yep. And like all of the connections to them were gone. So it was very effective in sort of not tainting their credibility of like
Give my
how they
thanks
could
to the
manage
Fairy
a big
Kingdom for
project,
accepting
because
me,
if anyone
nothing
was
but a
familiar
traveler,
with Team
as
Idolize
one of their
and
own.
didn't have like a good
I
impression of it,
promise
they
to
would have
return
already like
once my
had the
journey
idea
reaches
that
its end.
this person cannot handle a large project
I
like
see there is no
Chidimation.
stopping you.
But if that's all like kind of gone, and
Please,
the
take
picture
this.
is tainted to where
It's a piece of
oh,
moonstone.
well, the team actually decided to do their own path and they've separated from me,
And
rather
so,
than the idea
another one
that
has
I
left to
disconnect
confront
from them
their fate.
myself, me
Fate.
being Bayo, it gives us a
If
different
we
impression
I
of
have
this is
nothing.
more Team Idolize's fault rather
I
than
will
this
see
is
them by
Beowulf's
that white
fault.
lily cookie.
Sweet
I think
slumber!
that's a lot with
Will be mine! Pay close attention!
So I think it's
Sweet slumber!
and then the people
You're
who
the next two or better.
I
cannot deny.
To defend
Farewell, my
my
friend.
friend.
When people discuss the downfall of Team Idolize, they often blame Team Idolize as if Team Idolize was the one that chose to disconnect from Beowulf. I mean, that was true like 5 years later when we were looking back at the channel and we were like, you know what? We're not getting any exposure from them. Let's just disconnect ourselves and try to do our own thing. But in the very beginning, when we had to make our own channel, we did not want to leave, the Beowulf channel or leave Beowulf's management. Beowulf did that all themselves to where they disconnected themselves from Idolize.
Yeah, I definitely, because that's exactly what happened with their generation. You know, that was Team Idolize because of Bayo. They believed that Bayo could run another project and another project, and that's why I think it's so vital that this video comes out, because people need to be held accountable when they've messed up so that they don't mess up anymore. Because it went from Team Idolize to all of a sudden $10,000 is gone. You know what I mean? That's how it was.
Sweet slumber. All will be mine. Close attention.
Bayo was in charge of
Sweet slumber.
Oh, by the way, it was mainly Bayo who controlled those funds.
I knew we could do it.
And the payments and stuff like that. So Bayo cannot handle money, cannot handle projects, and I'm just hoping once this situation comes out, this video comes out, people will truly understand and kind of hold Bayo accountable so that this doesn't ever happen again. But yes, please.
Honestly, Idolize is just a skeleton in Beowulf's closet, because the exact same thing that is happening with Chibi Nation right now, of like they retiring, disconnecting from management.
I'm used to traveling. No, I must recount what I've learned. The spirit first, perhaps. I wish there are barely perhaps
and there might be
the song. I wonder if I'm as great therefore justice be ever from a place in the end. The power there must the guardian the beast if there is the power that's true. And if this whatever not now my path deep below there is no it's solved. I shall have perhaps the answers. Sweet slumber. All will be mine. Pay close attention.
It's just everything happening is so
Where have I seen this before? But
Sweet slumber.
as a person, I'm aware that you have had some, I suppose, unique experiences.
The Radiant Queen always wins.
Would you like to share any thing that stood out in particular about Bayo or the mod team, like any stories you have to share? Because so far you've been very insightful about what it was like on the team.
I don't have any evidence for this, because this was all during Slack, and Slack worked in a way to where anything that was over 90 days old would basically be archived and wouldn't be accessible to anyone, unless the project leader, like the one who actually made the workspace, bought like $4.
Sweet slumber. Will be mine. Close attention.
So most of this stuff is gone, and then I know that the
Sweet slumber.
old server, I know those are gone. So
Is everyone safe and sound?
just my experience with no evidence or anything like that. But with Beowulf, like talking to them in like one-on-one, overall, they kind of just seemed a little condescending. Like they didn't seem very passionate about anything that we were working on, and they kind of just avoided responsibility with dumping.
All will be mine. Pay close attention.
For example, then they would go to
Sweet slumber.
silence. Like,
You won't
with
find a
androids,
single blade of
when they
grass
were
in that
coming to
barren
me about how
expanse.
like their old Android series,
Place where
they
no
wanted to
cookie
redo and
from
stuff like
Beast
that,
East will
and I
ever dare
decided to
set
go
foot.
in with a pitch. They were basically like,
No
This
one who
is- this
ventured into
looks
the
great,
land
like,
of
why
silence
don't you,
ever came
like,
back.
try to redo all of Android.
Not in dough,
Just like kind of
not
like
in
0 to
soul.
100 real quick. And I know
It's
that,
just like all those
Devil's
cookies
Easy
warned
Tunes,
me.
She used to.
This is a
she used to
desolate
make
land,
she
where
made
even
a
the
bunch
whispers of
thumbnails,
wind have fallen
and she
silent.
made the project.
Only
I mean, not
one
the project, she
thing
made
breaks
the
this
profile
absolute
picture
stillness.
for the YouTube channel, and she also made the banner for the YouTube channel. So she had a very distinct style, and she was quite popular during the 2020 Gacha era, to where she had this really cute,
The wailing of
simple,
wandering
like,
spirits
chibi style,
who
and she
lost
made
the
a lot of
last
profile
vestiges
pictures
of
for, like,
sanity.
YouTubers and stuff like that. So
In
she
the
had a
land of
presence to where, like, she kind of like
where
mixed Nvidia
vengeful
and Stardust
race,
because of evil in
restless
her
souls
artwork.
of those who mend
And
the
I really
grass of
adored
end.
Yeah, I
One can't blame them.
really adored that.
Not after
so
all the suffering they had to
what I
endure.
decided to do was reach out to her, and we started to be friends.
I may ward them off.
And as
but only
friends
for a
do, we
short
copied
while.
each other's styles.
These spirits can never be
basically
truly put to
when,
rest.
Devil's Easy Tunes
A
left,
land where the living
and I
dare
came
not
on,
speak,
and Beowulf
haunted
saw
by
my
the
artwork,
shadows of the
I
long
was
gone.
kind of treated like a replacement.
They are right to call
Um,
this place
and
the
times I
land
would make
of the
artwork
crumbled.
kind of
The
met with comments
Wait.
of like, this is
Traveler,
great,
oh,
but can't
even
be more
feel
like
now.
Devil's Easy Tunes.
Silent the air, those
So I
countless
felt,
cookies
like,
behind
kind
it.
of shitty about my artwork. I felt like I wasn't good enough. I felt kind of expendable, and I didn't really know how to defend myself, so I just wrote it off as I'm just not good enough for Bayo. You know, I'm just not good enough to be at the same level as Devil's Easy Tunes. So I had a lot of internal struggles with my own artwork during this time because I felt like I always had to reach a certain expectation in order to be worthy of the Beowulf channel or Team Idolize, which none of it even mattered in the end because none of my artwork is public that I've worked for Bayo or Team Idolize.
I see. Speaking of that though, it seems like you've taken a lot of roles in these projects and you've done a lot of labor, and I can't help but wonder, what was Bale's role? Like, just looking past
The steps
the
descend
fact that it's Bale's
endlessly
channel
into the
and Bale is
darkness.
supposed to be the leader, did you see Bale actively
Finally,
participate in
I see the end.
contributing to the project, or was that usually just pushed off to
A
other
space
people,
so
you know, like the free
vast,
child labor thing, and
hidden
you know, people
beneath the earth bread,
did they tend to
and the tombs stretch as far as the eye
To
can
be so
see.
honest, this sounds so harsh, but I'm gonna be real.
More
Before
spirits,
Bayo
sweet
and
slumber.
I
will be
to where they were taking great years to come back and working on gacha shopping or gacha designer or whatever their other private projects were that eventually
Even
turned into
banished.
animation.
The
But the
spirit
time that I came,
so
which was around 2021, like mid
The banquet is starting.
time. At this point, the Idolized video was taken down, and they were thinking of where else to go. And the androids' first rewrite was in progress. I never actually saw Bayo doing anything yet. I mean, I knew that they wrote some of the script for the old, like the first androids rewrite, and that they designed, of course, the characters because they're based on her old Gacha mini movie androids. But once I was around for the next like 6 months, I never really even talked to her because it was usually her just giving me assignments and not really working with her, and I never really saw her artwork, so it was more trying to create something.
All will be mine! Pay close attention!
so just without that.
I'm so sorry.
The sweetest
Yeah,
victory!
don't worry about it. It happens to the best of us. But thank you very much for letting me know about this. It does, because the more I've looked into this, the more I've seen a tale of child labor, unpaid child labor, begin to emerge. And
Yeah.
okay, well, Bayo is, you know, minor during this time. I don't know exactly how old Bayo is, because I do believe there is a fundamental.
I do.
I'm sorry if I startled you. I didn't expect to see another living cookie here.
He was 15 in 2020.
You
in the
are-
beginning of Idolize. So in
Why, I saw
2021,
it
he was
in
around
that,
16.
but I'm not
and
sure
then
who the
he
wicked are.
was
You
around 17.
Know who I am?
When he was like officially not associated with
I must
Idolize anymore.
I must have
And
mistaken
Foreign
you
says,
for another
"Well, how is he
cookie."
going to college?" He
I see.
expressed to us that
My
he was
name
able
is
to
White
skip,
Lily
and he
Cookie.
got like
I'm
credits
Pastry Cookie.
or
Saint
something to
that is-
that
Oh,
as
just
well,
as
so
I
he was able to get
predicted.
college early.
Your
But
story
he
will
was
have to
still
wait.
on the old
Defiant.
they were working on the
will be mine! Pay close attention!
There is no stopping them.
Were
The
around
fiends keep
16,
coming back.
to 17 by the time
dead
that I
end.
was involved, and I was
This
14.
tomb.
There is
And I
no
do
time to
remember
look
being,
around.
you know, 16, 17, I
This
wouldn't.
tomb looks
I mean,
different from
my
the rest.
entire YouTube channel, I
The
took
inscription
my
is effaced
full
by
year break
time and
when
the
I
elements,
just turned 15.
but I can
So I
still
was
read
far,
it.
far younger doing
Did you
projects
hear
just
what
like
I just
Bayo,
said?
you know, Gotcha.
Embrace
That's it.
the
You don't have
downtrodden.
to, sorry. I think I was
Remember the tormented.
15 while doing that project.
Here lies
So
buried
I
the curse of the
want to
once
say
Be gone!
good grace to Bayo,
Bloom.
because they were younger, but his management
banished. Soulless. Look, pastry
I
cookie.
don't.
isn't attributed
You
to his age.
don't-
I do
This is-
believe that
oh,
it's like a
the spirit
scatter.
bad habit of Bayo's that does
There's no-
We must push forward.
Stand back.
project leaders were really good.
You better keep your voice down. Who
Sorry.
do we have here?
Mika was
Name's
younger.
Charcoal Cookie,
Cynthia was
Tomb
younger.
Keeper.
Angel was younger. Like, we were all younger than that. And we took on a lot of responsibility because we were really excited about being able to actually work like as a team in an art-related field and be able to post it. Like that's kind of like all of our dreams is like be able to make a project, whether that be a game, an animated series, whatever it may be, because we're artists. Like that's just our passion. So I don't think it's anything to do with age.
I definitely.
Sweet slumber. All will be mine. Pay close attention. Sweet slumber.
I believe you're in charge of like the kind of remains of Team Idolize, which is kind of changed to a different project. Would you like to go more into that?
Oh yeah. So before everyone asks, where are they now? Where are they now is they're with me. I own everything. So back in 2024, around the summertime, I had been working on my own personal project, my own comic, for a couple of
Sweet slumber.
while I was working
All will be mine. Close attention.
Idolize, because I was just like, F this is
Sweet
I'm just doing
slumber.
what I do. While I came back, because I was still friends with Soren, aka iPhone, and all those managers, because of how I became a project manager for redesigning Android's version 2, basically on my own. And I came back and I just messaged Aiko and I was like, can I just have everything? Can I have like the channel back? And can I have the Discord server of like 600 people? Can I just have the passwords to everything? And so I literally was like, go ahead, knock yourself out. It gave me everything to log into. And once I did, I was like, yes, I'm gonna
A
post
tomb
my
keeper, you
webcomic
say?
here because
Are
me and
you
a couple friends have been
with
working
the Saint
on it.
Pastry Order?
So it's literally just turned
I'm with
into
no one.
my
I simply
own
look after this
webcomic
place.
passion, or me and my
Then,
girlfriend's webcomic
Are there other
project.
devotees?
It's
that
sort of
so?
like for
There are
older
no one
audience,
left to
so
believe
not
in
really
any
towards,
gods
like, you know,
here.
the gotcha audience anymore. It's
When
like,
the war
I
ravaged
would
this
recommend being
land,
like 14
many
and older
sought
to
safety
actually
in these
read it, 'cause there's
depths.
some graphic
None left.
narratives in it, like gore and violence
And
and
now
stuff
these
like that, and
spirits
mental
harbor
health
deep
depictions.
grudge and animosity,
After
enough to
everything was
harm the living.
redesigned over and
Such
over and
a
over
shame.
again and rebranded
Such a
on
shame.
Team Idolize after just a
Is
couple
that so?
years of the constant
Leave, ye
rebranding,
two, as fast
I
as you
imagine
can.
that
Leave
Soy
if you
Guy
wish
did
to
to,
save your
you know,
dough
be like working
and
with
soul.
Team Idolize, as most of the people went
I'm
from
not
100 plus
afraid.
people to like
There's
12.
something
So
I'm looking
at that
for.
point, it was like, this is a dead horse. You can have it. So now
The
I
Night
have
of the
horse,
Witches,
and I'm hoping
held
to
once in
perform
a
some
1,000
necromancy,
years. This
and
is
get it
my
back
only
up
chance.
again. So I've been working with like
I shall meet the
literally 5
creators,
other friends,
the witches.
and some
I
voice
must
actor
ask the
friends
question.
to make like a comic and a
Why
comic
were
dub.
we,
It's
the
good to know
cookies,
that Team
created?
Idolize's like past
Why were we
channel,
brought
you know,
into this
like,
world?
still have something to work on, because it is a real shame to hear that
Sister Pastry Cookie?
blitzed off the
I-
face
what?
of the universe.
There is enough
by
sympathy.
Bayo.
And he-
I
But
try
yeah,
my
so it's
pill.
lovely to hear
Never-
from
I
you
see the cheek
and,
too.
But the
project.
Enough age.
The
Any
dev
final
silence.
words?
Right before the spirit of Eden.
I
We've
put
You are
already
the
talked
keeper.
about
Sweet
the
slumber.
like,
Will be mine. Pay close attention. Sweet slumber.
Don't worry. The only reason why I wanted to do this is because for the longest time, Team Idolize was called Team Idolize to link to Bayo, you know, because they thought, well, we all came from Team Idolize anyway, and it is something to be called Team Idolize for those who remember us. But I had taken a pause for like a year, but when I came back and I was like, y'all are still calling yourselves Team Idolize despite Bayo only giving you guys one community post about you? Like, we gotta change this up. Like, you guys gotta be independent from Bayo. Like, we shouldn't be associated with him anymore because he did us dirty. So it was my idea to go back into the server, into the manager chat, because I still had the role, surprisingly. And I was like, what if we changed our name to something
The
like
spirits
really
are
cool?
back.
And, like, what if we had a new mascot? And instead of was a black cat.
Go back where you came
Real
from.
creative, I know. Basically saying like we're entering our new phase without the war. What I like to envision it as is like Bun Bun was like the white puppy mascot.
May
was,
you
like,
find peace
us,
in the Almighty's
like,
embrace.
as a child, like just starting to get
So,
up.
these
just
spirits
growing,
can
just
be
developing.
banished?
Then Team Reverence.
I-
was
But
this
why no matter
20th
just
phase
That would
of,
be
like,
answer. They
a
were
slightly
to
It means
older
was a
mascot.
Helen.
They're always
And
swore.
now I guess
That
we're
was
tragic.
adults
Perhaps
who are
the sharp.
into
They
the
surrendered
mascot.
all.
And now we have a project to represent.
Pay close attention!
Sweet slumber. Out there, but it's good to hear from word of mouth of exactly.
Yeah.
The Radiant Queen
Yes, is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
wins.
Nope, I basically said all my tea. I'm Dev, and I had a gacha account known as Devil's Tune in 2019 and 2021. My page pretty much consisted of like drawings, like drawing fan art to big creators at the time, and that's how I pretty much gained followers and videos attention.
Sweet
That's in
Pay close attention!
I used to work on assets and thumbnails and brainstorming ideas with them. I character
Silent Salt
designed
Cookie. What was
some
you
of the
hear?
characters at one
We've
point.
made
I
it to
even
the
had, like, a
deepest depths.
Logo and a banner for
I
his
hope you
YouTube
two
channel.
are getting close to what you seek.
About my experience
I'm not quite sure.
with him.
I
I
must
wouldn't
look
consider my
around.
experience with
Now that
Bayo
the spirits
to
trouble us
be
no
as
longer,
bad. Like,
these
it's
depths
not
might
perfect,
finally
but
reveal their secrets.
the assets I made were never used,
Cookies who built
which
this
felt like
place
a waste of time and a bit
must have revered
disappointing.
those who were eventually laid to rest here.
At the time,
The
I
walls
remember
are
being part
strewn
of
with
Bayo's
intricate
project
ornaments
because I
and
thought it was
sculptures.
fun.
Such
I wasn't
love
in
and
it to gain
devotion.
like any revenue
yet,
or money. I just wanted
They
to
placed
get
a statue of
exposure
Silent Soul
out of
Cookie
it.
too.
And I was
Why
satisfied
did
for
they
the
choose
most
to
part.
preserve the memory
I
of a
definitely
devil
see
who betrayed
how,
their unwavering loyalty in
I've seen
cold
how
jam?
frustrated everyone else
A
was,
reminder that disaster
and
always strikes
how
without
he
notice.
handled projects and the drama
A
surrounding him,
reminder.
which definitely
Even the
and
mighty
gradually
knights of
made me less in touch
Kalanamek
with
couldn't
them.
foresee that the
At some
commander they
point, he made
revered
everyone,
so.
What was
download an
For
app
some,
called
God.
Slack,
God.
Our God.
Yeah,
which
why
was
did
like another
wait,
version of
wait.
Discord.
I know,
We believe that you are.
I
No,
haven't like
I
been
apologize.
active
Young and
on
I've
it
been-
at
Then
all.
why? To one book of songs.
What they
What's got
History.
How do you
No,
Well, honestly,
but there are
okay, I feel
things that remain
I feel
unseen.
really bad for the others because they definitely deserve more than
Let us
just
tend to the
exposure,
wounded
but,
first.
On my terms with Bayo at the time, I was only in it for exposure, and I definitely got it. No, I definitely got it. I got what I wanted from him. At the time, I used to work on thumbnails, and I was credited in all of the videos that he used my artwork in, and it gave me like boosted my channel, my YouTube channel, and it definitely gave me enough exposure to talk to big
unseen?
creators like
I don't
I
understand.
remember Rosie Closey.
Lost in the
Yeah,
legend of
definitely
fallen
Rosie
heroes
Closey.
and restless spirits.
It helped
Charcoal
me. She
Cookie.
commissioned me
Can
at
you
one
bring us
point,
back to the
and I
place we
helped
met?
with that.
You
That's
don't
all I
want
can
to go
remember,
deeper?
though.
No,
I noticed.
I
Yes.
I
definitely
could sense the
do
faint in the
feel like it was,
according
like,
to the
such a-
fairy's records.
Such a
Burning
shame.
Spice
and, like,
Cookie's
a
temple
big
remained
waste
still.
that he
even
deleted
after his
everything
sealing.
off. I feel like that
It was
just
preserved well by the clergy of the Spice Tribes,
like
driven by the fear of the Great Destroyer,
everyone else
rooted deep within their souls.
deserved something out of
I
it.
think it's safe
but
to
for
assume
me,
the lands of the other
I
beasts
don't
remain
feel
largely
too
unchanged.
upset.
The surface of the land of silence is barren and empty, except for the entrance to these catacombs.
Dunk on Bayo. It's mostly
Oh,
supposed to bring light.
That's what you meant by unseen.
Yeah.
Yes, the traces Silent Salt Cookie left.
Yeah.
They linger here, in the tomb of the slain Kalanamek Knights,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
where many
yeah.
once
I
sought
definitely
refuge from his
do
wrath.
Profile pictures and her YouTube icon.
There's something that's been bothering me about this
And
mystery.
a banner as well,
What if this place
like of the mascot.
was meant to be more than just a tomb? What if these sprawling catacombs are part of Silent Salt Cookie's domain?
You had a good experience, which I'm very
Built
glad to
atop a
hear.
place that
Would you
once
say you
served
have anything to
a different
say
purpose.
regarding the situation?
What are you
any
saying?
Well-wishes, maybe, or
Embrace the
just perhaps
downtrodden.
wondering
Remember the
certain things?
tormented.
Like, is there anything you'd like to share?
Here lies buried the curse of the ones
Oh,
though
I have like
Stop.
you prove me
some
sweet slumber. If it were fortunate,
some other stuff I do want to share.
standing in my way.
Pay close attention. A little bit more recently, it's nothing big projects I do want to share. In late 2023 and early 2024, I found Bayo's channel again, and I joined his Discord server. At the time, again, my intention was just to basically have fun and see what's up, and I was kind of like oblivious to the drama surrounding Chibimation. I say Chibimation because, of course, he's like a manager at the time, and I didn't know, but I only entered the other server, which was like called Bayo's Tavern. But anyways, yeah, and oh yeah, at the time I would draw
What
like
on
fan
earth,
art
Bread,
of
are
his
you saying?
persona. Like before he transitioned, I
What
would
ye
draw
heard?
like tons of fan
White
art
Lily
for
Cookie's
him
about to
on the
ravage a
art
grave
channel.
out of mere curiosity.
And
He
aside
promised
from
to
fan
respect
art,
the
I helped
crumbled.
create lore for
I
his
ain't got
persona
nothing
and
to
made
say.
a character
Only
sheet for
now,
him.
it seems like you've
Which he
changed your
made, like,
mind.
a whole separate
And
fan
that,
just to upload
youngin',
that and the lore we
leaves me
both
no
picked
other
for.
choice.
I also made this fan
You
art,
said
which
it is your
turned
duty
into
to
his
care for the
server ban
crumbled.
quite a bit. Let me send it to you.
But you must understand that I
My
too have
experience with
something
him
I
at the
cannot
time
easily
was
give up.
alright for the most
Please.
part. I mostly remember.
I do not wish to fight you.
I remember him being
Would you mind stepping
super
aside?
inactive and taking constant
Is
breaks.
that right?
He would
White
rarely tell
Lily
me.
Cookie,
He would
you're
rarely
not
tell me
planning
about
on
what's
breaking
going on
this
in his
tomb,
life.
are you?
Like at the time, I had no idea
No.
he was a
Charcoal
wheelchair
Cookie,
user or
you
that his family were
misunderstood.
transphobic.
He is
So,
right.
I was kind of shocked after
What?
like a year to see him come
I
out.
believe this grave
but
holds a piece
anyway.
of the puzzle I seek.
He ain't
I
his.
eventually left the
What?
server
And I'm the
and
one-
stopped
Yeah,
talking to
out there
Bayo
for
altogether
ye.
when
Sweet
my girlfriend
slumber.
told me about
Allow ye to take another step forward.
Sweet slumber.
one last thing I did
She defeated
wanna
Charcoal.
White Lily for
conclude
What you s-
about my
Stop.
experience with Bayo. Even though I do consider it like it wasn't that as bad, I think his treatment towards others who had like the short end of the stick was really unfair. And as a creator working on a comic project with my girlfriend, I can understand that managing a team can be difficult and at times stressful. My team isn't at all as big as his, but I just want to point out that's where my sympathy ends, because my takeaway, like the takeaway from telling my story, isn't to say that, see, I knew Bayo wasn't all that bad or something like that, because there are tons of videos and people complaining about Bayo and his team, and rightfully so. And I'm sure there will be more will be shared.
What you
And
But I
what?
just wanted
guess
to give
For
some
you said
insight
that, and
that
yet,
Bayo wasn't an
gathered only
ideal
up below
manager to
lies
begin with.
and
My
I, and
experience with him
speak.
shouldn't be
Indeed,
the
all I-
standard
why
of
didn't
how
you
a
tell us?
person with
Because I thank
leadership
you for your
Do you
should have
know? I
handled
haven't.
things.
The spirits I must.
Well, yes, he wasn't horrible to me.
Very well.
He wasn't that bad.
Let's go to
but in my
Sweet
eyes, I think he shouldn't have been given any charge in the first place.
Sweet slay close attention. All will be mine. Sweet slay close attention.
Bayo's and Bayo and their situations. I remember someone mentioning briefly that he was homophobic before he came out as gay. You know, so and even
Oh.
SMP at one point, which I had no idea he had.
What?
Yeah, it's just good to have like a multifaceted level of, you know, understanding of the situation. Thank you very much. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
And that's pretty much it. I hope everyone else's gets
This place
their
is not like the
experience
catacombs above.
out there.
It seems almost
they
as
do
if someone
deserve
once lit
This
charcoal
to be
pits
heard.
to be your
Like, this is
unwavering
my
Cookies, you've reached
experience. I don't
right.
want it
And
to
we know that
like
the
others.
night-
and yet
Pastry.
a hole in the night's
Like,
silence.
the bad seriously
It's pop pastry
outweighs
cookie.
the good
Don't worry,
in the
and it looks-
situation.
This
And
place.
You were
I
right.
think everybody in the Gato community has grown. They can definitely put it in the point because I just don't want that to happen at all. Don't give it a chance. Yeah, they're not as good. They're not as good as like, everything that's coming out and has came out. Like, it just shows that he's pretty much bad with drama situations and with people as well. And I think everybody deserves to have their voices heard about it.
Sweet, pay close attention.
One cookie.
The beast, how cute.
Very kingdom.
White lily.
My God, here?
You know, with Team
Of all
Icons, I doubt
places?
that they would have allowed Chibi Nation to go so far into like 10,000 people donating and that kind of stuff. So, you know, this video is all kind of dissection of why Bayo should never be another manager ever again. But yeah, so Soy, thank you for agreeing to join this call. You have a very long history with Bayo and the projects they've ran. Yeah, so considering that you have a very long history, I feel like hearing from you and your experiences can really bring light to this situation. So, to start off simple, how did you first get involved with Bayo and his projects?
I actually started in Team Idolize. I think I was 13 or 14. We actually started off in like Slack because he wanted to seem like more professional or something.
What enticed you to work for
The Knights
Bayo?
of
Like, was it
Kalanamic!
something they offered,
The Knights of
or were you
Kalanamic
just
are
an
coming
eager
back!
fan?
I wonder what.
I'm
Commander! Where's the man?
Sometimes, unlike other emissaries-
I actually started off in like,
Oh dear!
Instagram. Gotcha, Instagram. Not YouTube.
Commander?
Oh my God.
Leave him to me, Command.
Cannot. Yes, yes.
Child,
See the post everywhere.
Looks like
and I
Command,
watched
these call you
Android, and I'm like, oh my god, this is such a cool thing. You know?
Welcome back.
And
Sweet slumber. Pay close attention.
Have faith!
Pay close attention. Sweet, pay close attention.
Good by any stretch of the imagination.
The only thing that was good is we had our
What were the ages of people in the team? Because you mentioned training, and in my head I'm thinking like a 15-year-old training an 11-year-old, like that kind of situation. What was the training and like age of everyone there?
We didn't have a lot of minor. Everyone was minor, but we did have a lot of 13 below. Or I just don't know them. But I still have contact with this person. That's how I know. And I guess because I found out later that I was the same age as a lot of people. Like Yuwa, for example, we're actually the same
Well,
age.
you
And
just when I
We cannot.
they,
My lord shall ride
manager,
to the great.
Sweet slumber.
they were
Pay close attention.
She was hiding around.
Sweet, pay close attention. Sweet slumber. Pay close attention.
You don't like, I think you're right. Like, I think this is a problem, but
cookies of this land had nothing to call their own. In this barren wasteland, we did the impossible through the power of solidarity, sharing what little we had.
Like, it's been 4 years, and then I was kind
But
of
our
reading
ancient
messages.
values are crumbling before
I don't
our
know
eyes.
if they knew this, but I
Should
did
the bonds of
research.
solidarity that unite cookie
I
kind break,
researched everything.
our
I
world will
consulted other
inevitably
people.
plunge into a
I'm
dark
pretty
age
sure
of
they
violence
think I
and
made the whole
evil.
script. So when they
Do you
talk
remember
about
the
like me
vows you
not
took at
knowing
Kalanamic
anything,
Lake?
they're also talking about like
Embrace
5
the
different
downtrodden.
people
Remember the tormented.
that didn't know what they were talking
Those who
about.
cannot understand the
So,
meaning of the
from
vow
what
are
I'm
not
getting,
worthy of joining our order.
You went through Team
Nothing
Idolize
is
and a bit
forever.
of Chibimation,
Especially
and then you
the cookie
realized
heart.
just kind of how like
No,
messed
not
up it was.
Chibimation.
Not
Hearts
Chibimation.
break
so
and
Team
go
Idolize.
astray. They require a guide to mend them and lead
Okay,
them
and
back
then
to
you
their
kind of
path.
realized that Bayo
Would
was
you
like,
be
taking
such
things
a guide?
personally or something like that?
My
Did you,
lord.
Did you ever feel silenced by
forget
Bayo?
what I
Like,
asked
what was Bayo's
earlier.
behavior that made you
I
realize,
swear.
oh, I'm going to start documenting
As long as I
this?
remain here, the light of solidarity will not fade in the Great
It's
Barren.
in my videos. I put every screenshot there so anybody can make their own opinions. But I've also noticed that they've been taking like
where are the
comment section
spoils?
from my videos and think that I wrote them. Like no, like people can make their own opinions when they watch my videos. It's just overwhelming what you guys are doing. And I do read the comments. They're kind of funny. I saw some comment like, "Why is the mod crashing out on you?" And I was like, "Exactly."
Yeah, I've noticed from your videos that there was a lot of aggression, and I would say it's quite unprofessional of them in response to criticism. So I was just wondering, did you see any favoritism between the directors or anyone closest to Bayo? Like anyone challenging Bayo? Did you see any like favoritism?
Favoritism, definitely for every director. For the directors, they were. If you saw first comment on your video that they were 13
You
when-
always appear
when
without warning.
This happened, and it's been 4 years.
You know
as
well
can see
enough
from
that
their
we
4-year
consider it
anniversary.
improper to
So
keep our
now
guests
they're
waiting at the
17,
gate.
And
Yet not
like
once
a
have you kept me
13-year-old
waiting.
getting like glazed
Not
so
even that
bad.
first time.
Like they have.
A cookie of
I've
few
been talking
words
to,
you
like,
may
other
be,
members, and they
but
have
your
noticed
silver
that
tongue
they're a
leaves
little
me
bit
disarmed
egotistical.
every time.
And
I
saw
heard
in
about your
chat
campaign in
on
the
how
Strong
they
Flower
attacked
Ridge.
my character.
We were
when
unable
I
to meet the
didn't
flower of
attack
volition.
hers, I said that in my video
But the
too.
cookies
Like,
of that
I
region
never
seem to have
attacked
lost
their
all vestiges of
character.
civility,
I even said like, oh,
fully
you know what, I
succumbing
wish
to their
Steve,
most
like, the
primal
best. But
urges.
then I guess they wish me the worst.
Furthermore,
'cause I made
it has
those
been long
videos.
since we last heard from
And
the
it's
Garden
not
of
that
Delights,
hard to talk
and
to
the
me.
strife
It's
in the
just, if
land
you
of the
keep going
spices
on about
burns on without end.
misinformation, Are you saying my whole video is
Chaos has engulfed our continent,
If so,
fanned
like,
by
give me
falsities
screenshots
and mistrust
stuff
running
like
rampant.
that. Like I
And
did
some-
tell one
however,
of the
yet I am
directors, I was
You
like, oh my
will
god,
miss
if
solid.
You
I
said
deserve an
cookie
apology
the
from
days
this.
now.
Sweet slumber. Pay close attention.
Oh, will be mine! One team member's like, oh, should we like, apologize to someone? Like, not that, so. But still, a director or like some higher up, like communication higher up. So it's gotta be
Sweet slumber. Pay close attention.
oh, will be mine! Oh, it's gotta be mine!
Sweet slumber. Pay close attention.
Oh, will be mine!
It's possible that before their corruption, the other beasts too were nothing like what we heard about them.
Because we did briefly touch on Team Idolize, but Chibimation is kind of like the new abandoned project of Bayo. Like this is Bayo's new like failed thing. So could you tell me, like, because you're a game developer, what are your honest opinions about how this game is gonna like turn out or just be ran and stuff like that? Like, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. A lot of thoughts. First of all, they have 8 directors. I feel like that's a case of like too many cooks in the kitchen. Like, I feel like, because there's a reason, like, you gave them, there's like a project manager. Like, they make everything cohesive. But like each director does like different things. So how are they gonna have
Perhaps
that
it's time you tasted
cohesiveness, you know, and there are 5 directors.
Even
2 of those directors, so 8 directors are actually high
finally,
students.
you there?
To be high,
Are you the?
I don't
We weren't there
know
countless
what
more.
to be high is gonna do.
I wanna.
He's
Roblox
Is there another
such,
way to make him
okay,
snap
they
out of it?
started it before
Thanks
Roblox,
to
okay?
Cure.
Let's say Roblox
Yeah.
was in its prime,
Was it
without all
Boy.
this like gamer
Or have you?
stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
about all like
Yeah.
the safety issues and all that stuff.
sweet slumber. Pay close
It's
attention.
still not their right now.
Oh, we'll be fine.
That your game is gonna be there's 50,000
Sweet, pay close attention.
all 50,000
Oh, we'll be fine.
not all of them will go because, you know, some like the and even in the old game
Sweet, pay close attention. Oh, we'll be
like
fine.
more than
Yeah, I've seen it. They're doing other gadgets and games that have like a similar in the prime with like the customization.
pupil.
Granted, it's not a school.
And with
but
that,
still, I do
the
agree that
painting I've worked on all my life will be completed.
But
It's a
in general, I
masterpiece,
just
teacher.
don't
One that
think as well
appears
as the
only
5
once
or
in a
8 directors
century.
things. It just feels
It
like
couldn't have seen the light of
everyone
day
wants to
without
be
you.
involved, but no one's actually
You've poured your
kind of
heart into
grabbing
this
the
painting,
project
teacher.
by the-
Now,
by the hair,
after you have painted
know,
the
and actually
pupil,
directing
the
it
phoenix
properly,
will
because
surely
if
soar to the
everyone has
heavens.
a say, nobody really has a say.
You're much
from
too kind.
experience. You know what I
Rest
mean?
well,
'Cause everyone's like,
and I
you
shall
have to
see you
work-
at
you wanna
dawn.
do one big thing.
is bad.
Good night, teacher.
Yeah, because someone
I'll
is
tidy
bound
up
to
here.
get like, you know, disregarded. That's why there.
I never
there are
imagined that
different roles.
someday
Like,
we'd
there's
paint
always
the
gonna be a
entire
project
wall of this
manager.
grand
You
temple.
can have like co-directors or whatever.
Oh,
But they're
such a
mostly like
magnificent.
managers and stuff like
Indeed.
that.
Oh,
How
There
could
is
you?
favoritism.
yes, I
Actually,
could-
I
Most?
talked to one of
That's-
the
and yet,
Teacher,
of course, such you.
and their tech for artists
Oh.
isn't tech for
No.
every artist.
What have we
Because
done?
someone like the limit was like $30,
I've ruined
but
everything.
someone did
The
receive
phoenix
like a
can never soar to the
$200
heavens now.
drawing tablet
Not
that they didn't
anymore.
even need. They just wanted it.
Oh
And, like,
my.
What?
Did you know?
Someone
My
wanted, like,
lead.
gloves, like
My
drawing
lead.
gloves, and they never got it.
My oh
I
my.
don't want to say who they
La,
are.
la.
But,
I wonder if those knights in shine.
Yeah, I mentioned before.
My, here.
Yeah, in my like,
I will
other video, I mentioned
gladly-
how
But
irresponsible
what is
it
a-
was to be providing,
Every
like,
Sob?
I just
Ah,
I tend to
ah,
people in the
yeah.
project in general.
Indeed.
Like,
Not
we
as
don't
they
even have
go.
free
My,
range.
my.
We
But
get to
worry
pick and
not,
choose who gets a tablet,
for
who gets a
sweet
phone, who gets a
deceit
gloves.
will
Because it
fill
leads
your
into
empty
favoritism.
heart
That's
with
basically what I mentioned.
anger.
Someone didn't get gloves, but someone else got a whole bloody tablet.
I knew
which
we
is
could
very
do it.
expensive. But also, were you there when Bayo took ownership of the Team Idolize channel, or is that more of like Nap's kind of, you know, domain to talk about?
Nap actually wasn't. I think they were there, but I have context because when it happened, it was so sudden. Like verbatim, they were like, "Oh, guys, I'm gonna take back like the channel for college type shit," and then that's it. They just dipped and then left it all on Nico. They basically quit. Unlucky. A lot of
Make way,
managers
Something's not
actually,
right.
Our call.
like
My
big
God,
managers
watch out.
actually quit.
No.
I
Wait,
what?
don't, please.
No!
Everyone stay low.
Oh,
Is there
that's
any
what?
other
Morn.
like,
We must leave.
you wish
Lord
to
Commander.
share,
You are.
or things
No,
you want
Lord
the
Commander,
community
it's
to know
dangerous.
in particular?
Our power
Just
in the
any
name of
final
solidarity.
thoughts, basically?
He,
This is
we
too
shall I
much
swear.
information.
Lord Commander.
it isn't. We are out of
Like,
time,
I-
Knights. Are
I
you all
know
right?
they
I'm
took
fine.
not everything. And I was so mad about
Well, well.
Sweet slumber.
Imagine. The only
Pay
time
close attention.
is when
Oh, we'll be fine.
like I'm so happy for her. Like they were talking before that and I felt so bad. And then only when
Sweet. Pay close attention.
good as happened and I was able to help them.
Oh, we'll be fine. Sweet slumber. Pay close attention.
But
Yes, yeah, but you can
Those
explain
Calanamic Knights.
actually,
I
they
could have
initially
such
DM'd
a
me
glorious
on the
war.
first video or second.
Always
first or
feeling
second.
hard through its
And they
false
talked about
hope.
like their experience, but
Perhaps
they
they
were
could
kinda
enjoy their
didn't
time
wanna
in our
come
beautiful
out
garden.
because Mayo has a great
Now that
audience.
we've heard everyone's
And,
opinion,
like,
it seems to me
I was
clear
just
as
happy.
day that we have a
And I did
common
add
enemy.
like a small segment of theirs.
Without those
only
fools, the
what they
continent
allowed
will be
me to
ours
show.
for the taking.
So I did add that.
Haste will
in the
do more
segment.
harm
And when
than
they did come out
good.
with a statement, I think that's
Must we
when, like,
really
the
stir
whole
up trouble?
intervention happened,
You
which is
don't
good.
understand.
I do understand what you're
As
trying to
long
say.
as
It's quite unfair
humans
how everyone
are
is, like, really
soldiers
taking
inspired by
basically
his
all the brunt of the
ideals will
criticism,
defy our
because I
orders
feel
and
like you were one of the
sabotage
first
our
people to
war
start talking
plans.
about, maybe not the first, but you were one
And
of
as
the
if that
first
was
three
not
people who
enough,
started talking
they will
out,
blame
like,
you
talking
for
about,
all their suffering and
like,
misery.
Nation, Bayo, Team Idolize,
Complaints
stuff like
without
that.
solutions
So
won't get
it
us
seems like they
anywhere.
kind of put all that anger
None
towards
of us
you, but
stand
then
a
only
chance
after
on our
more people,
own.
that's when
Only
they find
But
inwards and
perhaps
realize,
we could
oh,
try
this
to
is like
bargain a
40,
deal.
oh, maybe we should change things. And it's really funny because your videos only came out like, what, this year? Am I wrong? Or did you say this year?
Do it.
This year,
So,
this year.
so it's been like a good solid 3 to 2 or even however many years passed, and only after you started speaking out did they realize, oh, there's been severe mismanagement in this team. I just think that's it's nice that they're looking inwards and there was an intervention, but it does bring questions towards how favoritism could have shielded Bayo, and having a large subscriber count could have shielded Bayo in the sense that, like, oh, people don't want to speak out against their, favorite YouTuber or their biggest, or like a big
Lord Commander,
YouTuber, like the case
A
of
letter
Priscilla.
arrived while you were away.
So thank
Yet you
very
did not
much
deem it
for,
necessary to send a
telling me
messenger.
this, 'cause it does
It
paint
must
a
scarcely
picture
be
of
worth
exactly
reading.
why certain
It is a
things
message
have
from
gone on
those who
when it
call
really shouldn't
themselves
have.
the rulers
I
of this
only
continent.
really brought up Idolize
After the divine emissaries
because
vanished,
he brought up
these
Idolize. And I
usurpers
don't
were
know
quick to
why the
claim
team
their
is
empty
blaming it
thrones.
on me. Like,
Although the
if you
sender
think
might
about
be
it,
different
team
this time,
saw me get
I
blackmailed,
recognize
and
the
they didn't even
same
do anything.
old message
Okay,
from
guys,
we have nothing.
As you
put our priorities
Trying
in
tough.
order.
Sweet slumber. Close attention. All will be mine. Sweet slumber. Pay close attention. All will be mine. Sweet slumber. Pay close attention. All will be mine.
You'll see the simulation screenshots. They're gonna see
What a joyous moment.
my fault. But I didn't even own it. I didn't own the server. I didn't even have full of files. I just was there. The only reason why I quote unquote inherited this is because I was doing everything. Like I did mention to Chido, I was like, yo, can you just like transfer everything to me? Because there are a lot of stuff in the server
Our
that I wanted to fix.
proposal has
And there's
fallen
like 10K
through.
people in there. So technically I'm in the same
Then
position
it's
as these
time
characters.
for war.
So out of everyone, they should understand how I felt.
bothersome.
But it's different because
My
Finance stole
friends,
the money. He had
perhaps
a
there
little
is
bit of
another
funding,
way.
and he stole the money.
What if
Like,
we let
okay,
them dig their
thing
own
is, I
graves with
paid everyone.
solidarity
Like, you're gonna see
they
the
treasure
screenshot.
so?
Like, okay, add screenshot.
Not even the
Of, like,
knights will be spared
saying,
from
oh, and then
total
she only
apathy.
paid like 5 people and $3. If I
Give it to
kept
me
payment proof
now.
and customs because I wanted them to see.
Like
You know, I didn't
you
want to
deserve
hide
to be
it. I
punished.
paid 19 people $5.
That's enough.
And it
No
all
matter
came
the
from a
circumstances,
16-year-old.
violence will not be tolerated.
16-year-old guys.
Oh,
Yeah, you
thank
like
you,
that.
thank you.
16-year-old.
Yeah.
Those brutes almost got away with all my precious little valuables.
The Calanamic Knights.
All hail the knights, all
I couldn't agree.
Sweet slumber. Pay close attention. All will be mine. Pay close attention. Sweet slumber. All will be mine.
Customs and Coffee,
It's
which
me.
was a project
You've
that
been
sort of
away
fell
for
apart
so
because,
long.
someone ran off with the money.
These are troubling
and
times.
even though there were obviously
Oh,
some management
what
concerns,
good?
you know, but like you were 16, you know, it was basically just kind of like a failed project. If I'm wrong.
Now it's it. Boring.
But how did the blackmail come in? Did they did a background check on you, and did they mention how like you couldn't speak upon the game like Chibimations because of Customs and Coffee? Is that the type of like blackmail we're talking about?
Actually, Leo was like, "Oh, if you don't take down the video, we're gonna out you as Aiko and all your projects." Because Aiko was actually like the higher up. I guess they did have a good experience with me. How I want them, they like you outed me as this, you know, talking badly about me. Like, okay, talk badly about Star, whatever. But they attacked like a lot of my characters and stuff like that, which was, I don't know, I never really, like, yeah, I had strong feelings about Leo, but I didn't mention it, I tried not to say
Sweet slumber. Pay close attention. All will be mine.
Meaning the chat, like the environment.
Sweet, pay close attention.
That's why I think if they don't get their act together,
All will be mine. Sweet slumber. Pay close attention.
Right now, it's changing like.
Yeah, I'm not
Are
gonna
you
lie,
certain
they
you will
did
not
really
your
well.
I have told
I do.
those with it in the eye.
The cert
That day
But yeah,
is to
thank
make
you
and reap
so
the
much
nourish
for
and
this
the
call. This is a very insightful.
without the divine emissaries, the tree or the I shall offer.
Is there anything
Please
you'd like
calm
to
down.
promote before
You
we
heard it.
stop, or
You heard.
anything
But he-
to say?
Wait, I sense a mess. You're a
You may not, cannot food.
We barely.
If only the knights of Calvary had turned the entire
I'll link
continent
the
against
server
them.
in the description below, so everyone can join it.
Let us tend to the wounded first.
Hearing from the Puff, Devil Z Tunes, and Soy really puts everything into perspective. When you zoom out, Team Idolize isn't just about Beowulf's ambition or mismanagement. It's about the people who came together, created something incredible, and then had to deal with the fallout when leadership fell apart. Beo may have started the project, but it was the artists who gave it heart. And in the end, it was the artists who kept it alive. And just to be clear again, this video isn't about harassing Beowulf. Don't send them any hate. Instead, take this story as a warning. Beo has a long history of starting projects, abandoning them, and wasting the efforts of the people who trusted them. We've seen it with Idolize, and we've seen it again with Chibimations.
Pay close attention. All will be mine.
That's why this video is not giving them a clap, because every time it's not hits. But the real takeaway in this video isn't it.
Sweet, pay close
It is the
attention.
people who picked up the pieces, who grinded
will
and
be
kept going
mine.
even when the odds were against them. And today, that legacy continues to be revealed. Like
Sweet,
Star House
pay
is,
close
a webcomic
attention.
created by the If you want to support true creativity in this community,
teach you not to
that is
steal
where
our
you should be
crops.
looking. At the end of the day,
Please,
I don't want Team
spare my
Idolize
dough.
to be
I
remembered
beg.
as
There
Beowulf's
are
failed
sick and
dream,
young cookies
but as
waiting
proof
for me back
when
home.
creators support each other, the art will always survive.
Raise your
Thank you
head,
for
not
watching.
blink. Mine now. Which way? Those fools.
Let's get
Have a little bit.
enough. Even the
I hope. Are you talking? No. Oh, Lord Salt of Solidarity is the kindest cookie there is. Of course, of course. Oh, how I wish to see him with my own eyes, just once. Alas, I never had a chance. He always rides away astride his faithful steed. Perhaps you can tell me how I can meet this great cookie? I'll be in your debt. Commander is...
Yes, but it is a secret.
I don't know. Not to worry. Such commander will be happy. Perhaps court. Yes, no, a painful a rabbit works. Of course, of course. Take as many as you need. great.
I knew we could do it.
If you've been up to date with Dandy's World news, you would know that Twisted Pebble sounds are completely bugged. The higher your floor number, the more likely Twisted Pebble's sound will get bugged and the louder he will be. This user asked, what's even causing it to be extra loud? King Mob said it seems like some scenario for longer runs is causing them to stack repeatedly, meaning Twisted Pebble sounds, and it's starting to happen to other mains as well. Then King Mob said, we need to do some investigation as to why longer runs trigger this, meaning the absurdly loud Twisted Pebble noises. King Mob then went on to say it's most likely tied to the animation caching and the events that triggers the sound is stacking. This seems to compound with higher floors, so investigating into that and most likely implementing some more aggressive systems to prevent that from happening. So basically it's like the game is remembering Twisted Pebble sounds and adding the sounds on top of each other as the floors go on. Eventually you have multiple Twisted Pebbles replaying over on top of each other and multiplying with louder and louder, something like that. So the devs have muted Pebble's footsteps to figure out what's actually happening. So the devs are trying a trial and error to figure out what is causing this bug. King Mob said, yeah, we disabled Pebble's footsteps entirely to isolate it out. In case the issue isn't caused by Pebble's footstep audio, King Mob goes on to say they were temporarily muted while we investigate some of the claims that were made over the weekend. So if you're playing Dandy's World, you will not hear Pebble's footsteps, so he can sneak up behind you, so be very careful. So this is what Pebble's going to sound like if you encounter him. This user posted, as you can hear, he has absolutely no footstep sounds. He can sneak up behind you. We've previously spoken about people being kicked for inappropriate animation usage in the RP section. Well, we have a reason why that's happening. If you go to your Roblox settings and enable click to move, so you can change your movement mode and go to click to move. So we're in the roleplay section and we have click to move enabled. Let's see what happens. As you can see, we have been clicked with inappropriate usage of animations, so it's something to be clicked to move and trying to move to areas that your tool cannot access, so that's the reason why that's been happening.
Women make it happen. Betadine. Alright, so in my last video about B-Plays, I basically discussed how she released a statement on September 17th, and the following day, her alleged victim in the situation, Logan, released a statement the next day, basically contradicting everything that B-Plays said in her statement. Now, when I made that video, there's a lot of people that were confused on what exactly were allegedly lies and what was manipulation, so I thought I would do a video where I would highlight the exact points in text so you can actually see just how much of this statement is manipulative or just straight up apparently lies. I thought it'd be interesting for us to go over together and just so people have a more well-rounded perspective of what allegedly happened, because there's a lot of stuff going on right now and it can get very confusing. Now, something I want to clarify is in this video, I'm identifying pay close attention as being something that Logan will be mine. Okay, it's very important pay close attention. Anytime I say it's a lie, I'm saying that it directly contradicts what Logan will be mine. Sweet slumber. Pay close attention. And then on everything else, I will be on the outside. Will be to almost try to garner sympathy or make yourself feel like a victim.
Another one has understood the meaning of futility.
We're gonna open up this statement right here.
Oh
no! I'm gonna go through it
Where are all your
you guys in highlight
lies?
sections. You guys can see pink will be any time that there Claire's alleged lie.
Their
And her will be any
lives
time
for the
that
price
manipulation is
of
used.
your
And at the end, we're going to see how much of a rainbow
If
this text will
only
become.
they could embrace
So,
apathy
first statement starts off by saying, this statement, I recognize,
Cookies
is
of this
long
land.
overdue. The reason for the delay was
Those
simply because
abandoned by
I
the
didn't
world
yet know how to
became
work properly
knights
the way
who
I'm
swore
feeling.
to protect
I want to
all
make sure that
poor
I was
and
taking into
downtrodden.
account the feelings of others,
Tell me,
particularly people I've hurt,
why did you
before
turn your
deciding
backs
how to
on
move
them?
forward. So right off the bat, we're going to check for manipulative language. In this first kind of sentence part, she talks about how she had to take time to decide how she was feeling.
Before I stand
And I'm just
embrace
kind of thinking in my head, how you were feeling.
They're too
If
You're
only
not the alleged victim of the situation. I would
virtues.
assume and hope the only thing you're feeling is guilt.
This land,
Like,
because in the
what are
end,
feelings do you have to feel mad?
only
That doesn't make
silence
sense. Sad. I
remained.
guess maybe you could be sad that people called you out, but it just seems
Let us
kind of
tend
dumb
to the
say, like,
wounded
I need to
first.
take time, guys, to like think of myself and like figure out how I felt. I think it's pretty black and white how you felt. If you're confirming that the allegations are apparently true, which we'll go on to talk about, I think the only feeling you should feel is guilt. And I think that's a pretty easy feeling to pinpoint. It shouldn't take you nearly a month to come up with, oh, guys, I feel guilty. You know, that just doesn't quite make sense to me. And it's coming right off the bat, like, I was having a hard time. I've had feelings I need to process. And so that's one point so far for manipulation. Manipulative language is what we're going to call it. Then she goes on to say, I'm not looking for forgiveness, nor am I expecting acceptance for this apology either. I'm making this statement solely for the people I have hurt, the people I have let down or disappointed, and the people whose faith in me I have tarnished, as well as the to provide explanation, so not to dodge accountability when we talk clarity. Such a familiar. I'm not going to say all this online.
Pay close attention! All will be mine!
And she also hears that
Sweet! Pay close attention!
about this, it seems like this came completely out of left field to them. They didn't see it coming. And there is aspects of what
Sweet! All will be mine! Pay close attention!
Privately, according to Logan, you're just releasing a statement where you're airing out everybody's
it's
dirty
over.
laundry.
When his dream
Kinda like
crumbled to
dragging people down
dust,
with you. It's kind of bizarre.
it must have shattered his soul.
Like that might slide, but it's
I'm
teetering
the
on
answer
line.
I seek.
Now, the second paragraph. When I was 19,
What a
ding, ding,
tainted
ding,
nourished.
allegedly this is
The
not
reason
truthful.
because
According to
they-
Logan, Liz was 20 when they started talking. It's interesting to me that she claims that she was 19. Do you know if that's true or not? I don't know. I wasn't there. But Logan was saying that she was actually 20 and he was 16 years old. Now, in situations where adults
How did they manage?
Let us
they will
not lose.
oftentimes make their ages sound younger than they are, just so it looks less bad. And obviously, an age gap of 3 years looks a lot
wave
less
corrupted.
worse, in
There
my
is not
opinion, than an age gap of
Enough,
4 years,
albeit
where you have a
There is
20-year-old and a
almost a. It is
16-year-old.
my final form.
That
What
mind
you
meld
are
is just a
being
very
held
big thing to
friend.
lie
My
about.
house.
Seems like a
So
tiny
how
detail in the grand
If
scheme
we
of
have
things.
nothing,
At
I
the end
will
of the day,
send.
regardless, you were an adult,
I have not my
right? So
dream.
we're gonna
For
mark
the
that
bet,
down
no
as the
cook.
first lie
Let
according
us
to
guardian,
Logan.
no longer the guardian's
She
tree.
goes on to say,
Oh, silver
I
seal.
was at the lowest point in my life I'd ever been at.
silver
I
seal
recently moved
tree.
back with my parents after a
Here's
difficult
their
experience
taken
being on my
dough
own.
with divine
Someone with
force.
body dysmorphia, dysphoria, depression, and anxiety. I was extremely low. Ding ding ding, manipulative language. So our second one. I did talk about this in this video. Not trying to be mean, but it's a very manipulative thing to say when you're saying, guys, like, yes. Did I talk to him? Yes. Did I write something not this person? I probably should have said, but listen, I was going through a hard time. I was anxious. I was depressed. I was dealing with body dysmorphia, so
Silent
logically,
has
the only thing I could do is
I'm
talk to a kid. Like,
White lip.
that was not me.
This no, not all these ages. What dreamed of giving to Cookie Kind?
My skin's so
Freedom Olay Retinol 24 Night Serum. Skin renewal for plump and smoother looking skin. Girl, try Olay. Now in sachet.
I'll be an engineer like you, Papa.
Kahit wala ka na, they will.
Hard time. Okay? Come on now. Have some empathy. No, but like, genuinely, I can have empathy for like going through a hard time mentally and dealing with body dysmorphia and dysphoria and stuff like that. I can imagine it is incredibly difficult. So I'm not trying to downplay the severity of how hard that must be to handle, but it's almost like she's almost using her mental health at the time as a crutch for her actions, kind of setting the stage for the sob story. I was a victim. I was going through a hard time. time. I was at the lowest point of my life, and then this happened. And guys, it just happened, okay guys? I was lonely, so naturally I just started speaking to a kid instead of somebody my own age. It's just only natural, right? It kind of gives off this facade that she was a victim and so we should go easy on her because she was having a hard time, which not to be mean, but I don't care if you're going through a hard time. I have empathy for you if you're going through a hard time and you're reaching out for help, but I don't have empathy for you when you're going through a hard time and instead of dealing with it with the proper channels like a therapist, you then resort to talking to kids, right? Like, and there are some people in my previous video that said, well, inherently being an adult speaking to kids, is it bad? Which, I'm gonna be honest, I don't fully know if I agree with that. I think, you know, you're allowed to play games, and as long as the conversation, I guess, is only about the game you're playing or something, right, then it's not that big a deal. But personally, I would never sit down and talk with a 6-year-old online. I just think it's weird. Obviously, the age gap isn't as significant in that in the play situation, but I just think it's bizarre to be someone who is 20 years old and allegedly, right, and you have a job at a school and you're like working and you're having close conversations with a 16-year-old. You know, like, I just feel like, what do you guys have in common other than Roblox, right? Like, you're working full-time, I would assume. You know, you're an adult, you have adult things you can do, and you have the 16-year-old who's still in high school, right? Like, you don't have a lot in common, I would think. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe 16-year-olds and 20-year-olds have a lot in common these days, but I can think back to when I was 16, and I definitely didn't have too in common with 20-year-olds. I don't think I was playing Roblox. You know, like, it's like, I don't know. So, right off the bat, that's bizarre. But anyways. Then she goes on to say, I was really lonely, and a friend of mine at the time mentioned she was someone who played similar games to me and enjoyed making similar content to the style I made and suggested that perhaps it would be good for me to consider making new friends. Ding ding ding, lie number 2. According to Logan, there was no mutual friend at this time. Logan claims that he plays and were actually meant to replace Discord server, which at the time she was using for Minecraft content, and Logan claims that's how they met. I think it's interesting that Viewplays is trying to distance herself and be like, allegedly, right, saying, oh, like, guys, I didn't actually go seek out a you know, this person, this other person suggested we be friends, so I thought it was okay. It's almost like, in my opinion, an attempt to shift blame or accountability, to distance it from the fact that she willingly had a conversation and began a relationship with this person. But because, you know, there was allegedly a middleman, it's not 100% her fault. This person encouraged this relationship, so it almost takes away from her accountability in this, which I think is a very bizarre thing to do, just in my opinion. I think it's weird. I became friends with someone who, while not legally underage against, was still too young for me to have been friends with at the time, particularly because I lacked the ability to properly understand what was appropriate and what was inappropriate to say or do around someone who was younger than me. Now, I'm going to actually put a lie in and make a point here, just because, okay, hear me out. She's kind of taking accountability, but then goes on to, like, this manipulative part here is a little bit more legally underage. You know, I talked about this in my last video, but just because something isn't illegal doesn't mean it's not inherently bad. Like, it doesn't mean you should do it, right? It's not illegal for me to, you know, drive my car down the train tracks, necessarily, right? If there's no train coming, why don't I just use the train tracks? But you wouldn't do that, right? It just doesn't make sense. Or it's not illegal to go, like I said on this video, go talk to a toddler and say, oh, you're so ugly, I hate you. Why would you do that? You know, like, it just doesn't make sense. There's ethical and moral aspects to this that she just isn't taking into account. It just because something isn't illegal, it doesn't mean you're exempt from any sort of accountability, right? It doesn't mean it's right, doesn't mean it's okay. So that's where I'm putting the manipulative language point. And then for the lie, she says that she didn't properly understand. So kind of, I would say this is like weaponized incompetence. She's kind of using this notion, oh guys, I didn't understand. I'm sorry, I know very few 20-year-olds who wouldn't understand that it's inherently morally incorrect to speak to a child, especially in the way that you were speaking to this child allegedly, right? As, of course, your brain isn't finished developing until about 25 years old, but as a 20-year-old, if you're actively working in a school with kids, right, you would expect that you have a decent amount of critical thinking skills to understand, hey, these are not fully...
A 4-year-old boy is killed in Polk County, and we want to warn you the details of this tragedy.
you